to that situation?
Correct. You will know that I was a guinea pig of the step-aside policy because it was first applied on me for whatever reasons. On that day, I was in Pretoria. I get a call from the office of the minister. I can't remember who specific in the minister's office. And I was asked to travel to Cape Town for a meeting with the minister. I had no reason not to respond to such, made travel arrangements, got here to Cape Town, waited for more than 3 hours for the minister to come. He came. We had our less than 5 minutes meeting. He was there with his deputy. I think the deputy then was Mr. Bongani Mkongi, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Bongani. So at that time, the media was dominating with Phahlane and IPIT and Robert McBride and O'Sullivan. And then the minister simply asked, General, in view of all this negativity in the media, is it not better that you maybe step aside? I agreed because I'm not glued to any position. And I accepted the role of an acting national commissioner from the president, knowing that as a member of the South African Police Service, you can be deployed anywhere at any given time, as long as it's to serve the people of the Republic. I only asked 2 questions to the minister. Who do I hand over to? And he said, no worries, don't worry about that. And I say, since you say step aside, what does it mean? Say, no, you go home. Shook the minister's hand. Thank you very much. I left. On my way out, I met Mr. Bo Mbindwani, who was, I think, a political advisor to the minister. I was coming from the 9th floor in the building on ground level. As I was stepping out of the lift, Mr. Bo Mbindwani was entering, leading Lieutenant General Mutiwa, a colleague of mine. I left for the airport, waiting for my flight. And it is there, when I was sitting there, that I was following the minister, making an announcement to the effect that I am removed. I was asked to provide reasons within 48 hours why I should not be suspended, and that he is now, or Lieutenant General Mutiwa, who is incorruptible, is now the new acting national commissioner. I was at the airport. Now, I'm giving you all that to say I was not removed by the President of the Republic of South Africa as the Constitution and the Police Act dictates. I was made to step aside by the Minister of Police then. No law provides for such. That's why I continue to say that my removal from office cannot be found anywhere in the prescripts. Later, I think it was on the 7th of June, I then got a call from a colleague of mine, Lieutenant General Skete, who was saying, "Hey, General, I'm being asked to deliver documents to you." And I said, "What is it?" I mean, I've worked with General Skete for years. And he said, "I've got these documents. It's a notice of suspension." And I said, "General, you don't have to go through the trouble of traveling to my office. You can just ask one of the officers in my office. In actual fact, I sent my driver who went to him to fetch the documents and bring them." When I received the documents, the first thing I did, I called General Mutiba and I asked him, "General, are you trying to sort out the mess that the minister has created?" And he was very apologetic. He said, "General, I'm very sorry. It is true. It's a mess because you never suspend someone verbally without documents. And if I were to be suspended or removed from office, it was to be by the president who in the first place appointed me. To date, I don't have a letter signed by the president which is saying you are being removed as an acting national commissioner." Following the first, I think it was the second or the third, there was a media, there was, I can't remember the president's spokesperson, it's Dr. Sam, I just forgot the surname. He issued a statement and said, "The president thanked me for my services." That's in short what I can say about that removal. Unlawful, irrational, but it doesn't belong here, it belongs in the courts. That's why I'm ventilating that matter in the courts and the public protector of South Africa.
But at the time, you didn't firstly protest your innocence in relation to the allegations then in the media and in the public domain. You didn't take issue with that when it was raised with you by then Minister Mbalula. You also never took issue with the minister that, according to you, he was not competent to relieve you of your duties as the then acting national commissioner, and also you never took issue with the suspension. Is that right?
You are incorrect.
At the time, it's not apparent from your affidavit that you took issue. I'm not sure whether you raised it subsequently. I think you said in a complaint with the public protector.
Because I'm not looking for political intervention or political interference, I don't have to raise issues that are raised in the courts. And I'm not supposed, I don't have to repeat what is being raised with the public protector of South Africa as in ventilating those issues. And I don't see any of such in the documents that the bundle that you have given me here, because it is comprehensive. There was no reason for me to argue with the minister. There is no reason for me to protest. When we serve, I always hear ministers and deputy ministers say, we serve at the behest of the president. The National Commissioner is serving at the behest of the president, not of the minister. So why do I have to contest what need not be contested with the minister? It's not in my nature to protest. I'm not I was never in that mode. I don't protest. I walked away because I don't want any conflict. And I just said, I am not glued to any chair. That is why when I was removed by the National Commissioner, being the Divisional Commissioner, personnel, responsible for personnel, and he moved me to forensic services. I accepted because he was not moving me into prison. He was moving me to go and perform a policing function that I performed very well. It falls within those objects of policing.
Now, subsequently, you were charged, and you were required to appear before a disciplinary committee, and initially you did appear on 2 occasions before Advocate Matau, SC.
It's correct. I appeared on more than 2 occasions. And when I appeared before Advocate Terry, there were 11 concocted charges. If you want to have a look at those charges, I'll give them to you and honorable members at some point. But those charges were disappearing day by day because the charges, the people who were supposed to be charged were actually those who were charging me. At that level, when I was in forensic services, I was not responsible for appointing people as senior managers. So now, if you charge me and say you have appointed so-and-so, go and charge the appointing authority who happened to be the national commissioner then. So those charges were slowly falling away until there were only three charges left. And we were calling for reconvening. My counsel here was representing me. We were calling for the reconvening of that session. It never happened. As we were calling, come the 6th of July 2020, a certain Lieutenant General Reed gets sent by Sithole to me to serve me on new charges completely different from what was there. And concocted by him, Sithole, and everyone. I actually saw in this file, but let me not go there. I'm not the evidence leader. After they concocted those charges, they initiated what was referred to as an expeditious process. Those 3 charges, which were left from the 11, I never had an opportunity to respond to. Frivolous, just like the charge with regard to the expeditious process.
So just to recap, the disciplinary procedure that was invoked the first time, that was in terms of Regulation 9.
No.
Or Regulation 8.
Regulation 8.
Regulation 8. That was the one where you appeared before Advocate Matau, SC. You say there were initially 11 charges, which were then reduced to 3. But in any event, you were never asked to plead to those charges. So those, even though you appeared there on a few occasions, that hearing, in fact, never got off the ground. It never commenced.
No.
Subsequently, the disciplinary action was then changed to Regulation 9, what is called an expeditious hearing in relation to senior management's officers of the police.
No. May I allow, Chair, sorry, am I allowed
you
to
must
correct
please
you?
comment. If
Yes.
I don't have it right
No,
or I have it wrong, then you must
No.
please
Yeah.
correct me. You then, that resulted in your appearance